Fall Guys, one of the video game darlings of the year 2020, the game released to massive praise and was instantly a hit with streamers and gamers alike. Funnily enough, the same year it released, it's also around the time when Among Us first blew up, both games being about colorful little guys just being wacky little dudes. Now if you haven't noticed, your friends probably never bring up Fall Guys in conversation nowadays, or recommend that you and the boys get on and play it. But Among Us. That game is still fairly popular and talked about. Might even be brought up for our game night. Now why is it that Fall Guys fell off? To start, we're going to go back to the game's release back in 2020. A little thing called the coronavirus was taking the world by storm, forcing people to stay home. Now that year there weren't all too many online multiplayer games coming out, save for Minecraft, Dungeons, Risk of Rain 2, and I guess Among Us finally blowing up. So if you and the boys were wanting to have a game night, that would also be perfect except a $20 competitive multiplayer game. Now of course you could play the team modes and work together, or you can do solos where you're all facing off against each other, helping each other out until the final round where all bets are off, and you try to kill each other essentially. Now the main game hasn't really changed that much at all since release. All that mainly happened was that there every 3 months or so a new season would come out with a bunch of new maps. Now things were great for the first couple of years. New maps would be introduced every few months with the seasons. You were able to earn cosmetics with the currency from just playing, and you were able to purchase other better cosmetics with the crowns you would get from winning a game, which kept the game addicting since you didn't want to miss out on getting your new favorite costume like the 2B costume from the store. So you kept playing it to earn those crowns and kudos. Now this all sounds great, you're thinking, wow, they changed the seemingly winning formula. We might have heard that until March 2021 that Epic Games, the Fortnite creators, had acquired Mediatonic, the Fall Guys developers. And if you didn't know, Fortnite is one of the biggest games in the world. Was then, still is now. And that game saw massive success after it released its Battle Royale mode and went free to play. So all I can assume is that Epic Games wanted to try and replicate that with Fall Guys. So a little over 1 year after the acquisition, Fall Guys went free to play and released on a few more platforms, such as the Switch. So here's where the game's downfall really started. Along with the release of free to play, the game's entire currency system changed, mainly introducing new premium currency which used to buy the more premium outfits, like the Godzilla or 2B outfits. Along with this change, the crowns used to earn via winning games were converted to kudos, the non-premium currency, and the main issue with this being that there is now no easy way for players to earn those awesome collaboration skins without paying. What they did add in its place is the Crown Pass, essentially a permanent battle pass where you can earn a few items by winning and earning crowns. Also, kudos had been nerfed as well. Now instead of earning them simply by playing, winning rounds faster, not needing to win the entire game, you earn them by completing challenges, leveling up your Fame Pass, or for completing live events. Granted, they weren't ever really too useful in the first place as a currency, but it sucks because you're now once again less incentivized to play the game, because now you can't even get your free-to-play currency as easily. What about the actual gameplay? Sure, the currency and shop changes are awful, but the rest of the game is the same, right? Well, sorta. Along with the free-to-play update coming out, the season count resetting, they started vaulting or straight up removing rounds from the game. With Season 1, and from now on when I refer to the seasons, I'll be talking about the free-to-play seasons unless specified. The main differences between being removed and vaulted is that rounds removed were not available to play at all in custom games or special shows for maybe the season, while vaulted rounds wouldn't show up at the pool while playing the normal shows at least for that season, but I guess we're still available to play in custom shows or special playlists. While the vaulting seems to have mainly started in Season 2 of the free-to-play, many rounds had been vaulted during Season 1 for various reasons. Real quick, I'm going to run through how many rounds were vaulted in each season according to the Fall Guys wiki. Also, the page is a little confusing on whether a map being removed later counted as it being vaulted, but these will be the approximate numbers. It looks like about 20 rounds are vaulted in Season 2, in Season 3 19 were vaulted, 12 are unvaulted, in Season 4 12 were vaulted, and 12 are unvaulted. In the Summer Breeze season, 0 were vaulted, 10 unvaulted. In Fall Force, 1 was vaulted, 6 were unvaulted. In Tulip, 0 vaulted, 6 were unvaulted. And with Power Party, 1 round was vaulted. In Shapes and Stickers had 1 unvaulted, and Survival had 2 rounds unvaulted. So according to this, there would now be a total of about 10 maps vaulted by the time the newest season had come around, but also according to the wiki, about 20 maps are or were vaulted. Now if you were me, you'd probably be upset about rounds being vaulted, since at least to me, part of the appeal of the game is playing new or different sets of levels each game. And before it really wasn't all that bad considering there were still plenty of levels to play, but with the game's most recent, or second to most recent update now, a lot of that had changed. The game's main solo and squad modes now had consisted of a rotation of about 41 different maps, with only about a third of those maps being made by the actual Fall Guys team, with the rest being curated creative maps. Now just like any other game with creative maps, you probably don't want to play those maps at all, unless you're a little bored with the main game. And another problem with them is, they're really not all that good. Sure, there's a few good ones, like I had fun with 2 of the finals, but the other maps I played really weren't all that great. So not only are you playing maybe 12 or so of the original maps with each rotation, you're playing a bunch of random creative maps that you never wanted to play in the first place. At least that was the case. While I was in the process of writing the script, they updated the game again and added back the normal game mode with only Mediatonic meta rounds. And honestly, I've been having more fun playing that mode than the older mode that they had just added previously. The map variety honestly feels a lot better, since I don't think it has a specific rotation, and just earlier on June 6th they put a sort of roadmap, with them planning on adding back 14 levels to duos and squads. Thus, sometime in the summer they're going to be adding more original levels and adding back more vaulted maps. A lot of people have been speculating that Fall Guys is also going to be coming to mobile at some point in the future. These rumors are only being fueled by the game's Fall Forever update that had just released on May 7th, 2024. The big changes that came with that update is that the Solos mode had been replaced with a mode called Knockout, the mode that included creative maps. Now, I do want to mention back in Season 3, not Legacy, the player count for each lobby was dropped to 40 from 60, supposedly for faster queue times, and probably because the Nintendo Switch might have been having issues handling that many players. But with the newest season or update and Knockout, the player count was further dropped down to 32 per game, along with the rounds per game dropping down to about 4 rounds per game instead of the 5 plus or so that there was previously. Also, along with this update, they messed with the physics of the game, changing jump height, acceleration speed, ragdoll, recovery speed, and giving more mid-air control, so the game, at least for the older maps, would be considerably easier. Like, imagine playing Slime Climb, but you can just jump up half of the obstacles, so even if they wanted to bring back every map, they might not necessarily be able to, unless they reverted these changes or just modified the maps again. Honestly, if you're looking into getting back into Fall Guys after not playing it for a couple of years, as long as you're not expecting to be earning any new costumes, the original maps are still fun. There are a few good creative maps, but those are far and few between. But hey, if you played the game at all recently and you were around before the free-to-play, let me know what you think of all the changes that have been made. Also, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.